Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing Stir of Echoes for its 25th anniversary. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back. Rosie, how we doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be back for another 25th anniversary.
So today we'll be reviewing Stir of Echoes, 25 years old. September 10th, 1999 was the release date, directed by David Cope, starring Kevin Bacon and Catherine Erb, amongst others. We'll hop right into the good, though.
Sure.
And I like this movie a lot.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised.
So two 1999 films that were first-time watches for me this year were The Sixth Sense and Stir of Echoes.
Right.
And I'd always heard the comparisons, their similar vibes, but The Sixth Sense was always far better.
Yeah.
And I agree, they do feel very similar. They do have very similar vibes, that horror, mystery, thriller element to them.
Yeah.
I think it works for both of them in different ways. Do I think The Sixth Sense is a better movie? Yes. I do like that movie, but
Of course,
I don't think this movie's far behind it.
No, I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed The Sixth Sense, and that was another new watch for me this year as well. They just had, like, the same, like, eerie feeling, like, the same, like, dark tones and lots of reds and blacks and blues.
Yeah.
So, I really liked seeing that. It was, I don't know. I liked it.
This one went a little more over the top of the effects, and I liked it. You know, when Kevin Bacon's character is first developing this trait that his son has, where he can see and communicate with the dead, you get little flashes of him seeing the babysitter in, like, red and black, or you get the flashes of her popping up, and it's kind of jump scary, but it's all good. And it all looks cool. But Kevin Bacon was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, this would be a hard role to play, so I'm glad they found a appropriate actor to do so.
Yeah.
Because there is so much emotion in it, in his role that he played, so I think it was just really nailing down a great actor to be able to show all those emotions that you need to.
When I first heard about this movie, I thought Kevin Bacon played like a detective role.
Oh.
And then watching this, you're like, oh, he's like, you know, he's a lineman that is working overtime to pay the bills, has a kid on the way, wants to be a rock and roll star.
Yeah.
And he just develops this trait that allows him to solve this mystery within his household, not within the world.
Yeah.
So I had that misconception because I knew he was solving a mystery, so that's why I always had this preconceived notion that he was a detective of some sort.
You didn't know he was like a, I don't know.
Like a medium, I guess.
A medium, I wasn't sure what kind of word to use there, but...
But yeah, I mean, that was kind of, I guess, a twist in itself because of the expectations as to the movie that were never a thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Kevin Bacon was awesome. This is towards the top when it comes to performances of his that I've seen. Catherine Erb was great as well, as his wife. I enjoyed the child performance as well. There really wasn't a bad performance across the board, even the supporting characters, whether it's the neighbors, the friends, etc.
Yeah, I would agree. Everything was filled with lots of emotion.
Yeah.
Which I like. I mean, like I said, you have to be able to know how to play emotional roles, and so it doesn't look cheesy or corny or anything. So I'm glad they got a pretty solid cast.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes was the hypnosis scene. The scene that really set off the plot. The scene where
I did like that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah,
because
where he gets hypnotized, and this really opens his eyes because she says, you know, once I snap you back in, you'll be more open-minded.
Yeah.
And it really, that's what starts the ability to see the dead and him getting these clues and trying to solve what's going on within his own household. But that scene is just, it's kind of unnerving. It's scary. It's loud and bright lights to dark lights to bright lights to the movie screen saying sleep. And it's just like, it's tense.
Intense, yeah.
And then he wakes up and they're like, "You've been out and we stabbed you with a pin needle and it bled from one side," like she said. It was a really good scene.
I really enjoyed that scene too, especially when he's like, you could see in like his mind and what he was like picturing. Because growing up, me and my friends would play a game called Concentration. I don't know if anybody else... Or not Concentration. What was it? I don't remember what it was called. But, like, I would, like, lay in her lap and she'd, like, rub my temples and, like, describe, like, something. And back then, like, I was just a kid, so, like, there wasn't 100 other things going on in my brain. Like, it was purely just, like... So
imagine it, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, now I don't think I could do that, because even when she did it the second time, later in the movie, I, like, closed my eyes with it and tried to picture it, but I couldn't.
I did the same thing.
I don't know, it was kind of cool.
I woke up, like, not woke up, because I didn't fall asleep, but, like, I opened my eyes, I was like, whoa, like, it got me.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work like that. I don't have the ability to picture things in my brain.
See, the other thing I liked about that first vision...
But it was kind of cool seeing how he was able to do that. And it was, like, step by step.
Like, that first hypnosis scene, too, you see the tooth hitting the floor and the nail snapping. You find out later what that means.
Yeah.
And so that was, you know... When you're watching it, like, what kind of memory is this? And then you're like, oh, it's not a memory, it's a clue.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, too. And then the next scene that follows that, where he's starting to, like, hallucinate at home, and he like, pulls his... I
hated that scene.
But, like,
I hate teeth.
That was... when you're thinking about what this movie's trying to accomplish, it gets you there. It's unsettling. It's unnerving.
Definitely unsettling.
But all in all, I really enjoyed this watch. I had a really good time with Stir of Echoes. The score was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that right off the bat.
Right off the bat. I mean, it didn't miss a beat, and it carried throughout the entire film. It was just an eerie, horror, mystery, thrill. It's just... I mean, you could say that it falls under that category of, like, your typical thriller, horror, mystery sound, but it just had an extra oomph to it that, like, made it stick out.
For sure.
So I really like the score. There's not much I didn't like about this movie.
Yeah, I only have one thing that bite me in the meh, but I don't... Yeah. So...
Well, we'll hop over to the meh.
Okay.
What's your one thing?
The one scene towards, like, the middle-ish, not sure if it would still be considered the second act or not, but when he like... is in obviously you could tell he's in some sort of trance or having a vision or hallucination or however you would like to word it. And the neighbor is like, they're gonna come and kill you and your wife. And then he goes to his house and find that his neighbor's son is there. Like, that whole scene was so confusing to me. I'd maybe like to go back and watch it.
See, it makes more sense at the ending.
It did make sense with the ending, but I would still, like, those little, like, for me, deciding what was an hallucination or however you'd like to say it for him and what was actually happening was a little tricky for me.
Which I think that's what they're trying to accomplish.
Yes, which I understand because I know it for him as a character, it was hard to determine whether this was real life or whether it wasn't, but I think maybe a rewatch, maybe at just even that part, like from there to the end, would clear up something for me. But that was just like right for a first watch, and giving you my raw thought about it. That would go in the meh.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it because like it did make sense and it did end up making sense. But you also know that I don't like time frame switches in movies. Yeah. I know sometimes it makes sense, but personal gripe of mine is something like that. So
the only meh I have is if the son could talk to her, why didn't she just tell him where she was at? But like at the same time, maybe she
like her body.
Yeah, maybe she can.
Maybe he didn't know, because he only seen her like ghost.
No, I know, but like. The movie, they're like, she wants something from you and your son. What did she ask for it yet? Like, maybe...
Well, he always said he didn't want to talk about it.
That's fair. And it's nothing that really hurt it because, honestly, like, that takes away, again, from the suspense, the thrill.
Right.
But it's just, like, sometimes you gotta play the logical card.
Yeah.
And so I guess
fair.
that's the one, like, logical thing I'm like... But you don't have a movie with that, so...
Yeah. This movie didn't have a lot of logic to it.
No, I mean, it did. It did. It like, created a lore.
Yes.
And how the mind works. It even had supporting characters that came in from the streets with the police officer that kind of helped the wife get a perspective on what's going on with her son and husband.
Yeah.
And that made her more understanding, I feel like, so that, pushed the story along a little more. Like I said, all in all, I liked it. I don't have anything in the bad.
I don't think I do either.
Yeah. So we'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. Another thing I want to say before we, give our scores. The twist was good too. Like, not really twist, the reveal of finding out like where she actually was, and after all of that digging, and then like who all was involved. Like that was all.
That was quite the twist.
Jaw dropping.
Yeah, it really was. I was pretty shook. I'm glad. I'm happy with the ending. I know there's a second one. I don't think it has amazing scores. But it did end in a way that it would make sense to have another one. I know lots of movies do that where they don't end in such a way and then a second one comes on and you're like, oh, that wasn't really necessary. So I'm glad this one ended. And for the sake of us really enjoying the first one, I think maybe the second one might be something to watch, even if it's not real good. But maybe just to see if
what happens next.
What happens next?
What echoes are stirred in the second?
Because
film.
I haven't felt that way in a while, where a movie ended and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Well, I guess I'll have to see what happens next, because I was like kind of bummed it was over.
Yeah. Because
it could go straight right into another part of the story, but it just ended, so I was like, oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait.
What do you give this one out of 10?
I'm gonna stick it at, I feel like I give 8s to every movie, but I kind of am a tough critic. Maybe I don't know, I don't have anything in the bad. Let's bump it to a 9.
9? Okay.
Because we don't have anything in the bad, and I only have one gripe in the middle with the time frame switch, which is honestly, it's a personal thing. It is not, because I've said it a trillion times on here with you, that is just something my brain does not compute. So that's not like a director problem or a filming issue or a acting issue. It's merely my issue. Yeah. So I'm gonna stick it at a 9 for sure.
I enjoyed this one a lot.
Yeah.
Were there little flaws? Yeah, was the new baby on the way kind of underplayed once the announcement came? Yes. Was there some logical inconsistencies at times, like why doesn't the ghost just tell you where she's at type of things? Yes, but there's no story without that. I'm going to go 9 as well.
Sure.
I really enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's too far behind from The Sixth Sense. I wouldn't even compare these two because they are different. They have strengths in their own way, in my opinion. I think The Sixth Sense gets you with the shock factor of a twist, and this gets you with more of a reveal than a twist. So they even have different ways they end. They definitely have similar vibes, but they both are the vibe that I love in a movie. I love thrillers, especially when you have the horror element in there. Yeah, and they both do a great job at that. And Stir of Echoes was a pleasant surprise today.
I feel like the only comparing factors with the two would be the child having some sort of ability.
And they came out 99.
Yeah. The child having some sort of supernatural ability. And in this case, there's 2 parents. And the other one, there is only 1 parent. So, like, not being able to understand that, but also having a parent that is kind of wasn't dealing with it and then got hypnotized. And so kind of they play off each other. They don't play off each other, but like they have similarities, so I can see it.
Yeah, but they have differences that I like about both.
Yeah.
That'll do it for Stir of Echoes. Rosie, thank you for coming on for another 25th anniversary.
No problem.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out Stir of Echoes. It's 25 years old. And thank you all for watching again. We will talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.